Russell Westbrook's time with the Los Angeles Lakers continues to haunt him, and now, 2 years after his departure, it's making headlines again for all the wrong reasons. As the former MVP struggles to find a new NBA deal, old rumors have resurfaced, including claims that he once called LeBron James fake. The story has reignited debate online, but where did it actually come from? According to a new book titled A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers by journalist Yaron Weitzman, Westbrook allegedly made those comments about LeBron during his time with the Lakers. The claim reportedly came from an unnamed source, and while that's been enough to spark controversy, not everyone is convinced it's true. One of LeBron's former teammates and close friends, Richard Jefferson, has already spoken out about the situation. On the Road Trippin podcast, Jefferson and fellow ex-teammate Channing Frye discussed the report, and RJ didn't hold back his skepticism. "The book can't sell without these types of things," Jefferson said. "If you're just telling a story, there's no gotcha moment. So if you look at this, there's an unnamed source that is saying something, and this is where the beef supposedly started. So now we're talking about something that is hypothetical, that we cannot confirm. That we don't know. So that's where it's like, I don't know if that happened." In other words, Jefferson isn't calling the report a lie, but he's not buying it either, at least, not without proof. And honestly, who can blame him? In today's media landscape, drama sells faster than facts. A single anonymous quote can go viral within hours, even when there's no evidence to back it up. Jefferson pointed out that too many fans simply accept stories like this without thinking twice. "There's a lack of media literacy these days," he said. "Too many people will just accept this as fact because they're too lazy to do any follow-up research." But Jefferson doesn't just talk, he brings receipts. To counter the idea that LeBron is fake, RJ shared a personal story from their championship run in Cleveland that showed a different side of the king, one that most fans never get to see. "We had a film session and Bron was being grumpy," Jefferson recalled. "Then we had dinner that night, and Channing and I were like, nah, we ain't going to dinner with his old grumpy self. But as soon as we get there, Bron's a little tipsy now, right? And he comes over to us and says, 'Guys, I'm sorry I was being so grumpy earlier.' And Channing and I were like, 'It's okay, big fella. We know you've got a lot on your shoulders.' That one story says a lot." LeBron, the face of the league, one of the most scrutinized athletes in the world, actually apologized to his teammates for being in a bad mood. According to Jefferson, that's something many superstars would never do. "That's the human side we get to see," maybe somebody else didn't get to see that side because he's always got to be a certain way. "But I've seen him be real. I've seen him on some real stuff, like apologizing to his bros for being super grumpy. And I've been around superstars who would never do that." That kind of story paints a completely different picture from what Weitzman's book suggests. Sure, LeBron isn't perfect, no superstar is. But calling him fake just doesn't line up with how his former teammates describe him. Jefferson and Frye have been close with LeBron for nearly a decade now. They were part of that legendary 2016 Cavaliers team that pulled off one of the greatest comebacks in NBA history, coming back from a 3-1 deficit against the Golden State Warriors to win the championship. Even now, years later, they still talk regularly in a group chat and joke like brothers. So when a story like this surfaces, it's not surprising that the people who actually know LeBron best are pushing back. Jefferson and Frye both understand what it's like to be around him day to day, the pressure, the expectations, and the constant media attention that follows him everywhere. They've seen the real LeBron, not the one painted by rumor mills or anonymous sources. At the end of the day, it's easy for outsiders to throw around labels like fake or selfish. But those who were in the locker room with James tell a different story, one of leadership, accountability, and humanity. So while the headlines might try to stir up more LeBron drama, this one seems like a reach. Westbrook may have had his frustrations during his time in Los Angeles, that much is true, but until he himself confirms those words, it's just another rumor in a long list of NBA controversies. And as Richard Jefferson said best, the truth usually comes from those who were actually there, not from an unnamed source trying to sell a book.